It's Tuesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Get in the building.
Yo. Good morning. I'm not good.
What happened?
I was duped.
What?
I was duped. This internet fraudster.
You're kidding.
I'm not kidding you.
What happened?
They duped you.
I got a text from, well, I thought it was my friend from school saying she needed help.
Oh, Brown has gotten that kind of text before. Yeah.
And normally I don't fall for it. I don't know, maybe because I'm with my grandkids, I'm busy.
Distracted.
So I just replied her that, look, I don't have much right now. And what does she need? She said she needs 250K. I said, why will I say 250K? I don't have 250K.
How much did you now say?
150.
What's the difference between 150 and 250? Yeah.
Sister. Because she's actually a girl that I like, and she never asked me for anything. So I thought she said it was a matter of she would pay
Brown
me.
Has fallen
It wasn't
dash.
Dash. She said she would pay me. That she's trying to regulate her account here.
Yeah.
Once she does it, she will send me the money back.
Oh, they hacked into her phone.
They hacked into her phone.
I think Brown lost 400K or something like that.
Oh my
So his
goodness.
friend, his very good friend too, they sent a message from his number, interestingly.
And where I knew it was a fraud was when, after I'd sent it, then 2 days later, he says, the guy is in very big serious surgery. He needs another 400K. I say, where do you want me to see that kind of money? I don't, even the one I gave you, go.
Yeah.
I'm waiting desperately to collect it.
Yeah.
She says, it's a surgery. Then the spelling of surgery, I say,
Was not well.
spelled surgery, SAUG. I say,
Yeah. Okay.
I say, I
You now
don't
call the
fall.
person directly to find out.
No, I didn't call. I just said, I know that you are a 419 person. So I blocked him. I called the bank. Because it's the same bank. Maybe they might be able to, or they'll just flag his account. Because I have his name and everything. So
Sorry.
this one that I don't have money, he won't 150. I say, yeah.
God will repay you.
Amen.
Hi, dear Mariam. Let me come to you.
I'm good. I'm fine. On a lighter note, on a happier note, just to say that I met someone yesterday at the mall, and she was really quite excited to see me. She hugged me. She had her husband and her daughter there, and she was like, "Come. Who is this?" The daughter says my name. And the husband was like, "See, she loves you so much, and she watches the show all the time. When it's time to watch the show, she sends everyone out. And she has to." She seemed quite excited, and I know that we get a lot of love. Sometimes we may dwell too much on the energy of the critics and the trolls and the haters and not show enough love and appreciation for those who really appreciate and love us. So this is just an opportunity to say thank you to all our fans and our viewers for your love always. And to Luakemi Ainde, who was her birthday also yesterday. So thank you.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Importer, exporter.
But first of all,
Shine,
I went
baby.
92 days, 92 hours with just water.
Hey.
Give me my flowers.
Congratulations.
I finally broke yesterday.
Oh,
I have
nice.
a bit of energy this morning.
Oh, nice.
And
So you ate
like,
yesterday?
no, I broke
yesterday.
yesterday evening. I had my bone broth. Then later on, I had my tallow, egg, and sardines, just a little, and my tea. And I went to bed, and I'm happy. So this morning when I woke up, I looked at my skin. It was clearer. It was glowing. Even when I walked into the makeup, everybody was like, "Auntie, what's happening?" I say, "It's the water therapy. It's the water fast that I did."
You see
But
how
I'm
you're popping on the
excited.
camera.
Like, are you serious?
Yeah, like you're
I'm really
glowing.
excited, yes. I'm getting ready, countdown to launching my physical space on Saturday.
Yeah,
So
congratulations.
after the show, I'm getting there to do some work. The workers are coming, everybody just trying to put one or two things together in readiness for Saturday.
I think I should go and do this water test. See just the
Like
newborn
I'm
baby.
feeling me.
The skin just a glow. Like a new bride.
She looks the same to me.
No, she
You
doesn't.
didn't see me this morning with her
Like she
makeup.
doesn't. Trust me. I need to do this water therapy. I don't know I can survive.
If you can, you
I
can
just
start
finished
with
2 packets
24
of
hours.
plantain chips
Me,
now.
I will just, if I try that, you have indoctrinated me. Myself, I've eaten 2 packets of plantain. If I try that, I will just have to sit on the toilet permanently peeing.
No, not really. Your body will
Yeah,
adjust to it.
Really?
Yes, it's
Just water, no
Me
food.
try, I will try.
92 hours.
I know you can do it.
I've done it many times, actually.
Producer has,
Yeah.
producer has a message for you. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we continue with our review, or we start with our review. Stay with us right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay, we're going to start with the nation. Strike not in nation's interest, presidency cautions Labour. Judges pay to go up. Diri defeats Sylvia to secure re-election. Nigeria tops in Africa with 1.35 million barrels per day oil production. Federal government streamlines borrowings by states. UBA secures $150 million trade facility from Afrexim Bank. Saudi stops 177 Nigerians from entering their country. An experts council, WAEC, over the computer-based WASI. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Let me start with the Nigerian National Office of West African Examinations Council, WAEC, has concluded plans to migrate the WASC examinations for private candidates from paper and pencil to computer-based examinations. So the plan is for the objective questions, it will be computer-based. And then for the written, that's the essay, they'll be screened, the questions will come up on the board, and then the students will write out their answers. And this, they say, is, to help it's like an improvement on the style that we've always had. As we know, we've always done the shading of the answers and things like that. And so they're looking to start this in February. But before they do that, that's next year, but before they do that, they're saying that there are going to be mock examinations at the different centers across the nation so that Nigerian students or applicants can sort of, get ready, be accustomed to the style before the time. So many people are saying this is a welcome development. It would reduce issues like missing, shading wrongly, and things like that. But then we also have educationists who are saying, as lovely, as great as this idea is, it needs time before you can roll it out. Are you putting into consideration every Nigerian applicant in this style? Also, we know technophobia is something that we have in Nigeria. Then they say we have a former director of the Center for General Nigerian Studies at LASU who said that actually LASU also adopted this, but this was something they did over a long period of time. They started it with a particular subject, then afterwards, before they rolled it out completely. So they feel that as good as an idea as it is, it needs time for applicants get accustomed to it.
Other countries do it. I mean,
but it takes time. No, but how many Nigerian students, remember this is not just for Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt students, it's for every Nigerian student across Nigeria, how many of them have access to computers?
They have to go to US Embassy, trust me, they'll find that access.
There's
a place where you go there for the examination. What I'm saying is that there's a solution, but we always try to make excuses.
No, I don't think these are excuses. I think these are valid points that they're making. It needs to take time. You need to make sure that the child in, let's say, Zing, in Taraba, has access to computer and understands how to use that when it comes up. Do you understand?
Yeah, so there'll be an examination center, not his house. All right, let's
Is Saudi stopping 177 Nigerians?
Yes, I saw that on social media. What's that about?
From entering. Apparently, they traveled from Kano to Saudi Arabia to Jeddah, and when they got there, the whole 264 passengers were rejected. They asked them to return to Nigeria. It was the intervention of the Nigerian embassy in Jeddah that they now allowed 87 of them to come in and send the...
Why? Did they give a reason?
What was the reason?
They did not really give a reason because they had already gone through the pre-screening before leaving Nigeria.
Yeah.
But this Ojikutu had said that it's because... what they suspect is because Air Peace is taking a lot of their passengers, of Saudi Arabia's passengers, because their flights are cheaper.
Oh.
So what they need is for the Nigerian government to endorse Air Peace and say, it's our flag bearer. So it will not be a...
competition.
Not even that. It will not be... it will be undiplomatic to reject passengers coming on Epics.
Okay, who gets to get more
We
information
have
about
to
that?
wait.
Yeah,
So
so
that's
like
fine.
disrespect.
yeah,
Terrible.
So the state
Disrespectful,
government,
honestly.
Sorry.
the state government and the federal government, through the Fiscal Responsibility Commission, has issued a template and guidelines on requirements that banks must meet before lending to state governments. The template, said, is designed to ensure that banks comply with all the necessary requirements before lending money to states. According to the story, they said in the past, banks will often lend money to states without fully understanding the risks involved. Now, the new templates they are trying to create will help to mitigate this risk by ensuring that banks have all the information they need before making a lending decision. They said they noticed that sometimes when there's a new cabinet formed, banks will go with mouth-watering offers to these governments and ask them to take loans, mouth-watering loans, and they give it to them. At the end of the day, the states are not able to pay these loans, and it joins Nigeria's bank debt that we keep talking about. So they are also asking the Central Bank of Nigeria to issue new guidelines to banks on how to lend to these states. These guidelines must be followed so that banks are not just lending money to states and states are not able to pay back when the time is.
Okay, so our president has said that the judges' salary will be reviewed. He was speaking at the All Nigerian Judges Conference of Superior Courts yesterday, and his speech was read by the Attorney General of the Federation, Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi. Said that he has directed RAMFAC to review the previous allocation, although the previous request of 114% increase in the remuneration, he has asked RAMFAC to review that to find something more realistic that will reflect the present economic realities we are facing. He said he's quite optimistic that the process will be concluded as soon as possible, making the judiciary independent, as he has done elsewhere, many of us know in Lagos, as he has done in Lagos, to make independent judiciary more independent. I assure you that it will be done here. Just be a little bit more patient with us. And he was cautioning against undue criticism of the third arm of government, saying that, especially after the political, the cases on the political issues, says that while Nigerian judiciary is not immune from certain challenges, it has, however, surmounted these limitations to credibility, retained the status of being the third arm of government. So we should try to refrain from criticizing them and weakening the judiciary system. Okay, moving on quickly now to the Punch. Strike. Federal government threatens Labour with contempt charge, NLC adamant. Why I rejected 114% pay rise for judges, says President. FG withdraws over 100,000 policemen from VIPs. Lagos driver protests last mile extortion, commuters stranded. Governorship polls, Tinubu lost INEC, PDP faults Kogi and Imo results. 20 die as Taraba boat on fishing expedition capsizes. Kan, Kwara Governor Oyedepo mourn as CNS leader dies at 101. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Let's start with the major headline. So the federal government yesterday asked the organized labor to shelve its planned strike, slated to commence today, Tuesday. And the government reminded Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress of a restraining order issued by the National Industrial Court, Abuja, on Friday. And, they said that this restraining order, if they don't obey it and they go on strike, they will be in contempt of court. But the TUC president, Festus Osifo, announced at a press conference in Abuja that he will commence its strike today in protest against the alleged assault on the president of the NLC, Joe Ajaero, by suspected thugs in Owerri, Imo State. And, they had planned to start it earlier. They conscripted some, organizations and, the public offices in Imo. And it did not hold water. A lot of them, when they said banks opened, they went about their businesses. So they are saying they now want to do it nationwide, and it's going to be starting today. So I think we're going to discuss a little bit about it later.
Okay, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. All right, we're still reviewing Punch. Story, nobody has a story?
I do. So they say the federal government withdraws over 100,000 policemen from VIP. So the Minister of State for Police Affairs, Iman Suleiman Ibrahim, has disclosed that they would execute the president's directive for the withdrawal of police personnel from VIP security duties and developing a community policing strategy, amongst others. You know, she actually listed a few things, you know, that should be done, but specifically she says that the police inspectorate department will evolve its operations to focus on robust monitoring, evaluation, accountability, and learning, and also following the establishment of the 40,000-man special intervention squad. We remember the IG of police also announced, you know, the withdrawal of all these police officers from escorts and guard duties for VIPs, and they're saying that they're going to go ahead to do it. They're going to execute it, and this is not just talk. This is something that they're going to go forward with
talking this
doing,
way well.
and this would really help in turning around our police
Every
force.
year we say it. Every single year. So this is the 2023 announcements.
That many times. Anyway, let me move to. So our president, the picture story here in Punch. The president has congratulated Governor Hope Uzodinma of Imo State, Governor Diri of Bayelsa, and Governor-elect Ododo of Kogi State. He has said that the outcome of the elections reflects the wishes of the people, emphasizing democracy thrives when voters reward competence and transparency and good governance. So he was congratulating the three new governors. However, the PDP has faulted the results of the Kogi and Imo polls, alleging that the security agents connived with the staff of INEC to rig the elections. They've started again now. So just like I think it was Mr. Otoju said yesterday, that what Senator Natasha did was she had foot soldiers across board, and she was able to prove. She didn't even need IREV. She was able to prove with hard paper what was collated. And that's what she said. So don't just come out and blanket statement and say, oh, they rigged. Please bring evidences of rigging so that it can be done, because we don't want this country to just collapse.
Well, I was watching,
just make a blanket statement and say it was rigged. How?
Dino Melaye yesterday, he was on a TV program and he was showing papers.
Exactly.
Yes,
so those evidences, she carry it to court is important. The evidence, that's what Senator Natasha did, and she won. So let us not just use all these publicity to be making this. You have a story in Punch?
Yeah, the commuters were stranded across various bus stops in Lagos State, especially Yanokpaja, Egbeda, Ikeja, Agege, Yaba. They were protesting the disturbance of LASMA officials, and Lagos State.
The accident that happened, I think it was last month, was allegedly chasing somebody.
No, that's
even a totally different story. Maybe it led to
possibly
the protest, but they all commuters were complaining that the bus fares went up, and the worst part was they would take you somewhere, they would take double the amount or triple from you, and they won't even take you to your destination. They will drop you, say, come down here. Wow. You know, so it was really stressful for them yesterday.
Daily Sun, Labour ignores court order, declares indefinite strike. Kanu denied access to visitors, IPOB alleges. WAEC begins CBT for SSC February. 20 killed as boat capsizes in Taraba. Senate to consider diaspora voting bill this week. FG kicks as Saudi Arabia cancels visa for 264 Nigerian passengers on their arrival in Jeddah. Multi-billion naira NIMC debt threatens national identity card project. Tinubu, each governor spent over 150 billion naira and 14 billion naira to win elections. This APC chieftain. How vested interest scuttled gender bill, says Abbas. Okay.
Yes, in Taraba State, barely 2 weeks, they say, after a boat carrying 104 passengers capsized in Taraba that killed dozens. I remember taking that story. Another boat carrying fishermen on Monday capsized in Ibi, local government area of the state, and at least 20 people were killed. So in this particular case, they are fishermen, and this is like a fishing expedition. It happens annually. Fishermen from Taraba State would go all the way to places like Chad and Cameroon. And then in this particular case, unfortunately, the boat capsized and at least 20 people have lost their lives. They say at least 12 out of the victims are from Ibi, while some are from Gareji and, you know, some other local areas in Wukari local government. And, you know, they're asking that one of the things that they would need going forward to help, especially with accidents like this, is life jackets. So that's something
Yeah.
that you do
Talking
not
about
have.
these life
Yes,
jackets,
you would, you would think. The governor expressed his condolences as well and prayed for the souls
Is
of
that
the
expensive
departed.
to
You know about these
Shit,
life
talking about
jackets?
it.
Should they even allow any boats to leave
Without those...
Yeah.
shores without life jackets?
Those boats, are they
So
private
sometimes they're
businesses
usually the
or are
private.
they-
Some of them are private because the government can't own everything. So
The
some of them
government
also need
doesn't
to...
own. They're mostly private,
private,
yeah.
but there should be checks and balances.
Yes.
Yes,
We
if they need
penalize.
support in that industry, they should buy life jackets and give to them.
Yes.
Okay,
Not the government
IPOB
support.
has alleged that its leader, Nnamdi Kanu, is being denied access to his visitors at his confinement at the DSS custody. The spokesperson of the group, Emma Powerful, who made the disclosure in a statement yesterday, claimed that Kanu's visitors were being selected and harassed. The group also frowned at what it described as flimsy excuse given by DSS in allowing Kanu not allowing access to his visitors. Mr. Powerful said on Thursday that DSS refused to allow Mazen Nnamdi Kanu access to visitors, claiming the claim of not having enough personnel to handle the logistics for Mazen Nnamdi Kanu's visitors because of the Imo, Bayelsa, and Kogi state elections is quite flimsy and laughable.
Yeah, so I have an important story. It's a warning to the public. The Nigerian Customs Service yesterday warned the public to be wary of criminals masquerading as its officials on social media, various social media platforms, selling elusive vehicles and job vacancies. The National Public Relations Officer of Customs, Abdullahi Maiweda, in a statement said the NCS neither auctions vehicles nor conducts recruitment on social media, that anyone who is doing so is a criminal. And, he advised that people should report this. So he says the modus operandi of the swindlers is to create a platform on especially Facebook, where the pictures of high-ranking officials of the customs would be used to advertise fake jobs and then properties that they are selling. They know that they see some of these things from individuals, but there's a modus operandi in which they, discard and auction them out. They don't do it on social media. They've never done it on social media. When you see any of such, you should go to their website and make a report.
Vanguard shock as Saudi Arabia cancels visa on arrival for 264 Nigerians. Let's find a story of not taking. Why colleges of education can't remit 40% to federal government's treasury, says Koeso. Insecurity, you've done well, Ribado tells CDS service chiefs. Tinubu orders withdrawal of policemen from VIPs. Experts employment, FG moves to secure more jobs for Nigerians. 2 Loma highway sweepers crushed to death in Lagos. Securities dealers blame speculators for Naira's woes. Okay, which story?
I have the lecturers of the nation's colleges of education asking the federal government to exclude the colleges of education from 40% remittance as directed by the government. We know that the government had directed that all educational systems must remit 40% of their IGR to the federal government. And the lecturers operating under the aegis of Colleges of Education Academic Staff Union, COESU, said that imposing the directive on the colleges of education would lead to increments in school fees and other school charges, and this will cause hardship on the student. They said they don't have students who are from rich homes. There are no ministers or governors' children attending colleges of education. They are mainly people who are just trying to survive. And so, asking them to pay 40% IGR from their IGR to the government is they don't know where to get the money from. They barely have enough to even handle their issues. I think they mentioned the amount of money the government even gives to support them, which is hardly enough. It doesn't come on time, it's not enough. Yesterday, I remember, coming across in the papers as well when ASU president was saying that even the universities they are not a money-generating organization that is more like giving back to the society, that what they even collect money for is for maybe ID cards, for hostels, for lab coats and all of that. So peradventure they collect 1,000 naira. Is it from that 1,000 naira each for plastic ID cards that they want to be giving the federal government 40% back? That's the government needs to scrap all of this. So now that colleges of education are saying, please exclude us, we don't have money to do this. I don't know.
So,
Okay, go ahead, Waike.
which one do you want to take?
I was going to take the one about experts. I know Nima would like this story. So the federal government is rolling out and implementing a new policy on expatriate quota that would likely ensure more Nigerians have employment opportunities in the country. According to them, many of the companies involved in this construction companies, oil and gas, telecoms, manufacturing, and hospitality, amongst many others. And according to the companies that will be focused to consummate the better employment deal are wholly foreign, joint ventures, or indigenous companies that are engaging in expatriate services. According to them, the policy which will be made, the details will be made known to the Ministry of Interior, and they'll be the ones to implement it. But according to them, they're going to ensure that more Nigerians, because currently we have over 150,000 expatriates who are working in Nigerian or these companies, and many of them should be replaced by Nigerians who can actually do the jobs. So they will let us know about the implementation, but definitely it's been approved, and they're going to keep the details close to their chest until it's ready to.
But have they asked why we get expatriates to do the job?
So they're saying that the Nigerian counterparts, you should find Nigerian counterparts, especially when it comes to engineering, professionals.
They have Nigerian counterpart. There's a reason why people insist on having these expatriates do the job. They should get to the root of the issue. There's a reason. We know we have Nigerians here, but there's something about them.
Okay. We have to wrap up. Final
okay, I was going to take the two Loma highway troopers who were crushed to death. Yes. A car purportedly trying to escape from task force hit and killed two women who were doing their job, and there was every people gathered, and meanwhile the task force has denied, saying it's not them. That's Jajaloye said that they will fish out the officials who were chasing the car, but it wasn't task force, that nobody had been deployed from the task force office.
So those two women work with Loma, so they're
they
women that
Loma.
clean the roads. That thing really broke my heart.
But
you know that these women get up quite early in the morning and put their lives at risk.
You know, their lives are at risk. I see them, and I really fear for them every time I see them.
We have to wrap up. Unfortunately, that's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back more to the hot topic of today, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. According to the reports, the two labor centers, the NLC and the Trade Union Congress, directed workers to stay off work starting today. This decision is against the ruling of the National Industrial Court, which barred labor from embarking on strike. Now, what are your general thoughts on this? You can call us on the numbers on your screen. You can also tweet us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. All right, so you guys heard about this strike, and what are your initial thoughts? I mean, when you heard, do you agree that we need to be striking on this? And I know at some point, hopefully, we'll open our phone lines for Nigerians to call in. What are your thoughts on this strike? Let me start with the ladies. You want to jump in?
Yes.
I know you're a labor.
I'm an educationist, so it's usually painful when we have strike. Anytime I hear strike, my ear stands. So I'm asking, is it ASU now or is it NLC? Is it ASU or is it NLC? And this one now that the NLC is trying to do, which is going to be affecting the whole working force. So I don't know the details if they want to just limit it within Imo State or they are moving it. So I think from the interactions and what the paper had carried this morning, they are planning to move it nationwide. And I'm worried about what is at play here. Normally we see NLC as a body that was created to fight for the people, to fight for the Nigerian workers, to make sure that every interest that they put forward is for the Nigerian worker, right? But now it seems to me like there's a bit of politics that's, at play here. There's a bit of ego that is at play here. We understand that he, went to carry out a peaceful protest in Imo State, and then he was attacked and beaten. But will that now warrant that we have a nationwide shutdown because the president was beaten? I just feel like, the chairman, I just feel like we have to be very careful so we don't start using some of these public tools to fight our own personal fights. And then we move away from what we're supposed to be protecting and preserving.
That is my own problem with NLC right now. This fight seems personal. It doesn't seem Where were they when Senate just bought how many cars at 160 million? I mean, how much million? How many million?
160
I mean, 160 cars.
160 million, YK.
Where were they? That's where they should have come out to protest. Yes. They sat down.
Yeah.
Then because they are president, which is bad for the president to be beaten,
Yeah.
but it is a police case. It is a criminal case. Yeah, if they don't answer him, then he has the right to sue them. Not destabilize the whole country. You were going to say something. I just had to.
Yeah, I know. I
That's
was going to come to Mariam because sometimes, when I see stuff like this, you as Labour, you're trying to ensure good governance. That's what the Nigerian people, workers, are paid appropriately. You're supposed to be the moral ground somewhat of our nation.
Yeah.
And when you go on an ego tripping, which is what this looks like, you think like, are you any better than those in government? So if you were if you're in the position as the president, or you have the position, would you do any better? Wouldn't you also go and buy 160 million naira car because it's for your own personal desires or whatever your benefits? So the same thing we are complaining about, the people seem to be doing exactly the same thing. I mean, Mariam, what are your own thoughts when you saw this?
You know what? I really, really wanted to not be on the, because it seems obvious that this seems like a personal vendetta, maybe against the current administration or how things are being done right now. But I really wanted to come and today to understand like where they're coming from. And honestly, I haven't seen it yet. So I'm looking forward to maybe someone calling us and giving us like a different perspective. But it just seems to me as if there is, the NLC has a party right now, the Labour Party, and it is, involved in election like any other party. And so they will feel some personal growls, that their party is not making it, and so they are no longer representing the people, Nigerian workers, they're now representing their party. And their party feels aggrieved. Definitely, NLC is feeling aggrieved. That's how it's coming across. The protest that happened in Imo State also came, there was a lot of resistance. Many Nigerian workers did not even think that protest was necessary at the time. And then that happened where he was waylaid by thugs. And it was well known that these were thugs that did this. It wasn't, first of all, there was a story that maybe it was the police. And of course, when you see the police, that means they are alluding that it's the federal government. And alluding maybe it's the party in government, that may have done that. But there's facts that shows that it was thugs that had come into that place and attacked him on the day. And so, I just feel that this is no longer about the Nigerian workers. This is about party and ego. And honestly, if there is any other person that can tell us otherwise, I'm happy to hear.
You know how I always say that we need women in Labour. In fact, our president should actually, we have to put, because men go ego. I'm sorry to get all gender in this, and I do apologize to my male counterparts, but this is the male ego at play here a lot of times. True. Because if we had a woman who was chairman Labour, she wouldn't go ego tripping. We honestly need to understand that this personal vendetta, you're trying to really show the president that you have the power to shut down the economy because you have been aggrieved. And so it's a power tussle. Well, and it's painful.
I don't agree with you that it's because it's men. I think it's the human being. It is not their gender, it's just them.
Yeah, that's gender. 100%.
I don't think it's gender. I just think that is who they are.
I think women given the same power.
Oh, that is who...
I don't think a woman given the same power would do that kind of thing. Never. She might do a different thing.
Yeah,
but she might do a different thing, which is faulty.
You never can tell.
This one.
You never can tell when she's having a
Some women have shocked us. Some women have shocked us in our country. They have done something.
And the worst case that will happen is NLC and ASU may be keeping malice for a long time.
Oh, I don't like that.
I don't like that. But you see, again, we have also complained that our government don't obey court orders.
Yeah.
Yes. So
NLC here is not obeying the industrial court orders.
Government and everybody cannot talk there. Both of them agree.
Yes, exactly.
So my point is that who is Nigeria? Like, who is going to help us? Because we, the people, are still those in NLC.
Yeah.
We keep complaining about each other, acting as if we're going to be better if we become
the people are those in government too.
We, the people, all of government, NLC, all of us are the same thing.
Yeah.
Who's going to save Nigeria?
So I think
when the government is talking about NLC not obeying court orders,
yes,
I don't want to
too
hear.
Are guilty, yes.
Because they have released Nnamdi Kanu since 19 Have they released him?
Yeah. They can't use that.
MFN, it was when the judge said, okay, this one I'm not even agreeing, that they now released him. So government, they get their own for body. So make we not even...
So two wrongs now make it right.
Yeah.
I'm not saying.
We're just saying that
I'm not saying two wrongs make it right.
Moral
ground. Yeah, so
thank you. They don't have the moral ground.
Yeah, so nobody should not talk about it. They shouldn't mention it because they don't have moral ground.
Something else. So we all disagree. Honestly, I disagree. I don't see it. I don't see why why there's going to be a nationwide strike. Why we're shutting down our economy because someone was attacked. This can be addressed in courts, the police station. I mean, there was also the you remember we had read the story where he was supposed to have been taken abroad to deal with those wounds. Has he recovered fully?
Obviously.
I mean, is he on ground right now? So it just seems very petty at this point.
Yes, I agree with you. Very, very petty. This is not the way to go. So I'm also worried why ASU wants to now join them. So we know NLC is aggrieved right now because of what had happened. And I know that ASU has been in talks with the federal government to see how they can follow up with the memorandum that they have signed and seen. So why do they want to join NLC at this moment? Are we even considering what is happening in the economy right now? Are we even paying attention to how many months those students lost that were just trying to recover? Are we even listening to the people at all? I think at this point, the people need to be able to stand by themselves and say no. If every worker decides to go to work, what will NLC body do? Nothing. But we too don't have the will to say no.
I understand
no,
why.
But nobody went on. They said the strike was a failure in
the one they did in Imo,
Yeah,
so if Nigerians decide to show up and go to work,
my question
nothing. Nothing. We need to stand for ourselves.
Who who are the real enemies of Nigeria? Let's start asking ourselves this question. We know Nigerians don't like politicians. They don't like government. So that one, they are already enemy number one.
Enemy, yeah.
But who else are Nigerians' enemies? Because sometimes you feel that we're trying to take one step forward and somebody is hell-bent on pulling us back 10 times. Because the way the economy is, we are all... I'll let you answer 1 second. Many people are complaining. Yes, they can't feed.
Biting everybody.
People's salaries are not enough.
Here.
The person that's going on strike, he doesn't have money. And yet, you are telling him to stay home because he won't get paid. Because federal government tells you tomorrow that because you didn't come to work,
we will not pay you. No work, no pay.
Is it Nigeria that will pay their salaries
No.
from his own pocket? So, who's going to say...
Let me tell you. You have said the answer by yourself. You said the answer by yourself.
Which is
the Nigerian politicians. The Nigerian politicians are sponsors of all these parties, all these NLC, NBC.
No, it's how are they sponsored?
Didn't Obialu, or was it Marian that just said NLC are
Labour Party?
Labour Party. Maybe the other one are APC. Maybe another one is PDP. So they are using these bodies to fight the people.
Super selfish.
So we are just the poor grass.
I'm telling you,
that are suffering under these giants. Because people have been complaining about the election. NLC did not fight because of election. They did not strike. They did not strike when senators bought car and justified buying expensive cars. They did not talk when they bought yachts. They didn't talk about yachts. They kept quiet. Then they now come at them because they slap their oga.
They want
all
to shut down
the
the nation.
Must go on strike. So hunger must catch all of us. Only because of the slap.
This person that they wanted to carry abroad to go and treat his wounds.
Have they not carried him?
No.
Maybe they brought him back quickly.
So they didn't have the dignity to say, okay, let's find a Nigerian hospital to treat our girl. They said, well, let's fly him abroad.
Yes,
but we hold politicians.
I think we need to know who the real enemies of
You were also talking, you talked about all the different reasons why they should have protested long before now. Recently, we talked about Nigerian workers who, the civil service is asking them to come from different parts of Nigeria to converge in Abuja for validation or exercise. And we saw these people in a small enclosed environment,
Yes, yeah.
pushing and pulling. NLC, I did not hear NLC say anything about how that was conducted, how they should have been treated. These people would travel from different parts of the country on their own. They pay for their transportation, they pay for their accommodation, pay for their feeding, and then they get there and they still have to wait days and days before validation is done in that condition. And some of them till date said they have not been paid September and October, because after the validation, they have to go again and check. And this is something they do yearly. NLC has not stood up to say, stop treating Nigerian workers this way. Find a more decent, dignifying way of treating our workers. But here we are talking because someone went to a protest that was not even meant
you have a call? Sorry.
push
All right,
the Nigerian
let me take a call.
cause.
Good morning. Thanks for calling.
Good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. Please, there are some things I want to say here. You know, when the head is rotting, nothing the body can do. That's number one. Number two, this notion of NLC going on strike their particular political party is wrong. Not every work and protest Labour Party. You should understand that. I remember sometimes some years ago when Jonathan wanted to remove the subsidy. It was this same Labour that came out, that APC then sponsored, came out a mass to shut down Nigeria. We didn't say then that APC was using the Labour against Jonathan. We didn't say that. We supported it. So why now? That is number two. Number three, with the kind of politicians we have in Nigeria, they are the biggest problem of Nigeria. The biggest tsunami that is destroying Nigeria are these politicians. They are telling us to sacrifice, but they are not ready to sacrifice. When will a politician collect a House of Rep member or a senator collect a fee of 160 million naira to do what? That money can pay the salary of so many people in the workforce. You can do it. So I have always said that the best thing for Nigerian politicians is that let everybody be on national minimum wage of 30,000 naira from the presidency down. Minimum wage of 30,000 naira. Then all these allowances, newspaper allowance, housekeep allowance, drivers allowance, entertainment allowance, all those things should be removed. Be removed from them. But they are taking politics here in Nigeria as a business. They are not there to serve the interest of the people. They are not there. Since Labour, they have been talking about salary increase. They are not talking about it. But when they want to increase them, they don't even discuss about it. The next Nigeria we hear is that they have increased their own.
I didn't hear him very clearly, but I'm sure our viewers did. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll discuss this phone call and other angles. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're going to be opening our phone lines for viewers to call in to tell us what your thoughts are on the strike. Do you agree with Labour? Do you disagree with Labour? You can call us on 081-07-64-1679-090-241-63440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. Now, do you find it coincidental that when Labour is calling for a strike, it's the same time, around the same time, that a human rights activist was saying that nobody saw NSAS coming? If you remember what she was posted, that nobody saw NSAS protest coming, nobody will see the next uprising coming. Sadly, it might end up being violent. There's a simmering anger fueled by the impunity and brazenness of the corrupt politicians and rulers who have rigged their way to power. So a lot of people went for this human rights activist saying that, please bring your children to be at the forefront of this protest first. Once we see your family members there, then we'll stand behind you. Others have also condemned it, saying that because your party did not win, which is also the Labour Party, did not win, that's why you're coming up with this post. Now, around the same time, NLC is now saying we're shutting down the whole of Nigeria. So do you think this is some kind of an orchestrated plan by Labour Party to actually just challenge government or to shut down the economy, or just because their party didn't win in certain elections? I think that's the question Nigerians are asking this morning, and I'd like to open our phone lines if we can get a few calls. I hear Yakub is waiting. Good morning, Yakub. Thanks for calling. You're live.
Yeah, thank you very much, Morayo. And then good morning to everyone in the studio.
Yeah.
Morayo, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised once again that Labour is going the way they are going. Totally, Labour is no more a Labour that we all know. Labour is now a political party. It's a political party. I even tell you, because you rightly mentioned some of the quote and unquote people rights. They are saying that nobody saw the end is coming. What call for that? You see, some of the people in this country are still so annoyed that actually Bola Ahmed Tinubu won that election. But whether they like it or not, he has won the election. What all of us need to do is to support him and then make sure that this country comes to where we all need. See, Labour say that they are going to shut down this country now. Now, last 2 months, if I don't make mistake, this same Labour had meeting with the federal government, and then they were letter of memorandum that says that CNG, some of us are using car, we cannot be able to use our car the way we want. Why? Because the petroleum price is going up. And then they were telling us that in the coming soon, like 2 months to that time, the CNG, all of our cars will be able to convert to CNG gas, and then we can be able to use our car the way we want. Now, I was expecting Labour to communicate to Nigerian citizens that the agreement between us and the federal government, they were not doing it. So in that case, we are going on strike. So now, one of your guests, your co-colleagues, actually mentioned something earlier, that then Labour, as a person, look at Agero here, you would, instead of you to come to Ikeja here to come and treat yourself, they fly you out of this country, and then the same Labour will complain that politicians are flying out of this country because they have it. So what are you trying to pass to us? Labour is a political party, and then it's going to get to a stage where the Nigerian citizens is not going to listen to them anymore because they were seeing them as a political party, which is very, very so bad, and that is not good for Nigerian citizens because we believe it is only Labour that can talk to Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Yakub. You
know, I was going to say 2 women were killed yesterday. Where were NLC when they were killed? Have they come out to...
They are Nigerian workers.
They are Nigerian workers.
Yes, sir.
Where they were not just beaten, they were killed.
Yes.
Okay.
Who is fighting to ensure that another woman is not killed on the street sweeping? Nobody's fighting. It's the one that will enter their pocket.
Opportunity for them to shout that this is unacceptable.
Yes.
Because they slap your oga at the top. So you want to now give all of us pain.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
No.
So I have a message here because after I give him my opinion, someone says to me that he does not think I understand what is actually happening. And so I asked, feedback. So he says, number one, NLC president is not just one common man, as you've described him. He represents the workforce of the nation. With his authority, nothing will work and the government will be grounded. It is unprecedented to have Labour president beaten not even during the Abacha regime. Labour Party is also not NLC party at all. And then far from that, and it says only APC apologists are saying that just to abuse unsuspected Nigerians. So basically, he's just saying that if you think that the Labour Party has nothing to do with the NLC, they are 2 different bodies altogether. No, it's one of our viewers,
okay.
And he's also giving his
opinion.
He's giving his opinion. So the NLC is separate from our Labour Party, from the Labour Party, according to his opinion. And yes, the NLC has its shortcomings, and so does the government. But the fact that the NLC president was treated that way is unacceptable. So if it's we all agree.
So if it's unacceptable, should we therefore shut down the whole of nations? Let us know. Let us ask that same man that because they've beaten this so powerful man. Because he was beaten up by this man, can we shut down the biggest economy in Africa just because this one man, Nigeria, was beaten up? Yes. That's the question we should ask this
exactly.
question. So let me then take this call from Nasir. I'll come to UBC. Good morning, Nasir.
Good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I agree 100% with Yakub.
Okay.
We should not politicize everything in this country. In addition, I will add this to it. The Labour, they have their functions. And I condemn in totality the beating given by the leader. But I will cite an example. Some years back, I was in London, Charing Cross Hospital specifically. Something happened in Woolwich. A black man killed
a military man. I was scared. My doctor told me I should not be scared, that nothing will happen. I was to be discharged that day. And truly speaking, nothing happened. It was treated, the Yoruba man, the black man that killed that army officer is still in detention today. And the citizenry did not suffer for it. No attack whatsoever. Now, when must I now suffer? Well, like AY said, why not report this thing to the appropriate authority and let them take action? Now, I will suffer now. I will not be able to move freely. I will not to end my living, all because Ajero was beaten.
Yeah.
That's too much, please.
You know, I was listening to your message. Thank you very much, Mr. Nasser. I was listening to your message by Pastor Sam Adeyemi. Was saying that any leader that does not have love has no business being a leader. Because what he's saying that the ultimate commandment is love. If there's love, if Ajero is doing everything he's doing because he loves Nigerian people. He wants to fight for these people because his entire life, his heart is tied to Nigerians. He won't shut down the Nigerian economy. Exactly. It's not about love. It comes across as being selfish.
Yeah,
but let me come to you.
Yes. So I wanted to add that the two issues are separate and we should not combine it in the sense that you planned a strike and a protest. And then in that protest, some thugs or miscreants attacked you and beat you up. It wasn't the Nigerian workforce that attacked you and beat you up. So you must not join the issues. You report the matter to the appropriate authorities. They follow up, they fish out those thugs, and they punish them for it. You don't
trust the appropriate authorities?
No, you cannot say you don't trust the appropriate authorities, but then you are supposed to be fighting for workers. So if you don't trust the appropriate authorities, your job is to ensure that they put people there who you can trust. So have you fought that fight?
Can I ask a question? What was the original protest about?
So, yes, let me
list it here. So the first thing they said, a series of infractions and encroachment of the rights of workers and distressing incidents. Then they mentioned the beat-up that happened. And also, they wanted the federal government, they said the refusal of the government to implement agreements, non-payment of backlog of salaries, pensions, discriminatory payment of salaries, and non-compliance to national minimum wage. That's the fight. So it is a genuine fight.
No, sorry. The original one, the one that happened in Imo. You know, there was a protest in Imo that led to his beating.
So they went to protest for these things I just mentioned.
So that all that was happening in Imo.
No, that was different. Wait, that was it. Let me take this call, then we'll get the right information. Okay. Good morning, Olufemi, you're live. Thanks for calling.
Good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
My name is Olufemi from the United States.
You're live. Go ahead, Mr. Olufemi.
Well, it's unfortunate that the NLC president is going this route. In this country, that is in Nigeria, during the regime of Obasanjo, Oshiomhole was negotiating for the increase in fuel price, and he was beaten. He did not, because of that, stop the negotiation. He continued the negotiation until he was able to achieve the fair deal for us in that country. But this man, there was a court injunction restraining him from going to Imo State. He went, and then he was now beaten. He's now shutting down the nation. And then we want Nigeria to grow. I pity him. I don't know how Nigeria is going to grow with all these people. And I'm calling Femi Falana, who is their lawyer. There is a court injunction stopping them now. Is he coming out to ask them not to go on strike?
Exactly.
He kept quiet. And all these people come to the television, and then they will be participating as if they are the all equal.
Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Olufemi. You see, in Nigeria, we have a problem. I always say, if I leave Nigeria, it's not because of Nigeria, it's because of Nigerians. Because sometimes, that's what he just made an important point. A very highly respected lawyer, Mr. Femi Falana, is their lawyer. And he's not putting them to order. Listen, you are going against a court order that has said you cannot strike. That in itself is an infraction. But their original
can give his advice, but that does not mean that your client will.
Okay, so the original, that's true. So the original issue, as we know, right, was the asking for the wage awards, implementation of palliatives, tax exemptions, allowances to the public sector workers and review of minimum wage. Those are the original issues.
In Imo State.
Nationwide. Nationwide. That was the original. And they were in talks with
what
the
led
federal
to
government,
the
going
protest
back
in
and
Imo?
forth.
Okay, so let me give you the protest in Imo. The NLC had called on workers in Imo State to embark on a statewide strike on November 1. While declaring the strike, Mr. Jero said the industrial action was in protest against the persistent and egregious violations of the rights and privileges of workers in Imo State by the state government.
Now, so the issue is, that was happening towards Imo's election. You didn't remember they're not paying salaries across the nation. Other state governments are not paying salaries, though. But today we are focusing on Imo because the election is about to happen in the next few weeks. So let us now raise the issue. They didn't pay salaries, though. We're having issues. We're not going to protest. That was what we were speaking against Imo and then NLC. Why are you protesting in Imo? Because the elections are coming. Now, elections have come and gone. Well, while the whole drama of the election was going on, your guy got beat up. Oh, you guys have mind to come and beat us. It's temerity. Now we shut down the whole of the nation. That's what we are seeing. So the original issue is they've been engaged with the government.
Because somebody make you feel as if you don't know what you're saying.
Those were their original. If that was their grouse before the election, I think they were justified.
Of course.
They whether it was 2 days to the election, 1 day to the election, they had their right to go on a protest. Peaceful protest.
Very convenient, yes.
However,
whether it is political, they have political agenda, but all of them, everybody has. Because let's remember,
we have to wrap up.
Let's remember that Jonathan, this thing, that was politically motivated, though.
Trying to remember which one.
That one brought APC into government.
Occupy Nigeria.
Occupy Nigeria, fuel subsidy. There is fuel subsidy. Everybody is just looking now. So, they all work for politicians.
Yes.
My point being, I'm sorry you have to wrap up. My point being, they all work for politicians. All of them.
Yeah.
So what can the Nigerians,
we have to
before
run.
you quickly go, what will Nigerians do? Are they going on
Go to work.
Go to work.
That's
what will
it
happen?
means.
According to Obiajulu on your view.
Everybody
let us go on a break. Our own is just to express our views, right?
So,
just to say, so Nigerians, you did make a decision. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll have to move on to the next segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So recently, the EFCC, that's the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, arrested over 70 students at the Obafemi Awolowo University. However, 58 students out of the 72 have been released after preliminary investigation established that they were innocent of the indiscriminate allegation of fraud. Joining us right now on Zoom is 22-year-old Hafiz Junaid, part of the 5 students of the Computer Science and Mathematics in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering at Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, Nigeria. He's one of the students that were recently paraded by the officials of the EFCC. And joining us also in the studio right now is Hafiz's father himself, Mr. Yinka Junaid. He will also be, we'll also be having at some point a representative of EFCC on the show to share with us what happened. But let's start with Hafiz's father. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much.
Good to have you.
Same.
First of all, I'd like to really express our sincere regret of what happened, and it's painful as a parent to have to go through this ordeal. We don't envy you at all.
Thank you very much.
But give us in a nutshell what's been done. I know we're trying to get Hafiz on Zoom. Once he gets on, we'll have his own version. But in your view, what happened? Could you just share with us what happened and what have you done so far?
Okay. The whole saga started on the morning of the 1st of November. We were actually sleeping, my wife and I, only for our two Hafiz elder brothers, the two of them. They just barged into the bedroom and asked us whether we had seen the message that he sent about 2 a.m. that morning. And in the message, he said, we were being raided, we have been invaded. I don't know, please do not respond to this message. Do not target, do not do anything. I'll get back to you. Don't call me, don't do anything. And that was like 6-something a.m. You can imagine how I felt. I was
shaking.
I was much more than shaking. I was in Lagos. You know, it wasn't Ife. So this happened. His mom was beside me, so I had to be a man and not do anything that would further worsen our situation.
Yeah.
Because at that point in time, I knew what she was going through internally. So I just calmed her down and said, okay, let's make calls. Fortunately, I was born and I grew up in Ile-Ife. So I started making calls at that 6 a.m. I was able to get through to one of my brothers who took a bike immediately and went to the hostel. When we got to the hostel, that was when we were told that the people that came, that they were wearing EFCC jackets. So at that point in time, okay, it was no comfort because we know that in Nigeria these days, anybody can wear anything.
Yeah.
You understand? And we never believed that EFCC as a body would come in by 2 a.m. to invade students' hostels and cut away. We didn't even know the number then. Okay, so we called. After that, I had to call people in Ibadan because they said, okay, EFCC. Now, there was something that happened somewhere along the line. I had a call that somebody in the bus was tweeting or doing something or shared his location to, whoever, to his audience. And they said they had passed Ashejire. Seems like they were going to Ibadan. So that was the first inkling that we had, that they were probably going to Ibadan. So I called everybody I knew in Ibadan. I got across to the lawyers and said, okay, if it's EFCC, you guys need to be on standby. To cut a long story short, I was only able to confirm that it was EFCC after 10 a.m. in the morning when a lawyer actually gained access into the EFCC office and cited him. So that was when we had the peace of mind that he was in the EFCC.
Okay, I'm told that Hafiz is on right now because we'd like to hear his story and to know at what point was he released and what happened. Good morning, Hafiz. Are you there? Good morning, Hafiz. Can you hear us? Hello, Hafiz. Okay, while we're trying to get Hafiz connected, Mariam.
Yes, so did he tell you what they were accused of after they had arrested them and taken them to the EFCC office?
She didn't know.
So they hadn't said anything to them?
Nothing. They didn't say nothing to them except bend your head.
And they didn't show a warrant?
Nothing. Nothing. No documents, no speeches, no statements, nothing.
Just rally them up together.
Did they beat them?
I think it would be better for Hafiz.
I hope you can.
Hafiz, are you there?
Yes, I am. Good morning.
Yeah, it's good to have you on. So your dad has given us a heads up on what's happened on that night when the EFCC came to raid your school. Could you just give us in a nutshell, because of time again, just what happened and what your experience was, especially in their custody, and at what point were you released?
Okay, good morning once again. In a nutshell, I was asleep around the early hours of the morning last Wednesday, 1st of November, and I was woken up to just noises of them breaking the doors of the hostel. And some minutes later, they got to my room and they took me away into one of their vans. At that point, we didn't know where we were going, but some hours later, we reached Ibadan. And then we were all made to sit outside for like hours, where they took our names and pictures. At this point, they still hadn't let us contact any of our parents or our family. They just made us write all our names and tag all our gadgets. Then they now took us in hours later for questioning and then to search our devices.
Did they take your phones from you? Did they check your phones?
Yes, they did. They took my phone from me.
So tell us about your experience in their custody. Did they lock you up in the place? Were you just outside? And at what point did they say, go home?
Yeah. How long did you stay?
Okay, when we got there in the early hours of the morning, like before the sun had risen, we were just sitting outside for long. And then they were just asking us questions, you a Yahoo boy, you are a Yahoo boy, this one, that one. And then if you see a Yahoo boy, they'll be like, you're lying and stuff, just trying to intimidate us. Then after that, they just took all our names. Then all the devices they seized, they made us identify which one was who sleep. And then after that, they just made us sit generally. Then after some minutes, they made us stand and then they took the picture. But that was the picture they initially posted. So they made us stand and face the camera, then stand and back the camera.
Okay.
Then people that had vehicles, they made them stand with that vehicles as well. Then after like 2 hours again, then that's when they took us in with our individual devices. Then they searched and they made us open all our devices without any lawyers or anything at that moment. They made us open all our devices for them to check thoroughly. And after that, that's when we were able to call any of our guardians to come and pick us up.
Were they physical with you at any point?
With me,
With any of you?
no, they weren't. But generally, they were physical to an extent.
Yeah.
So they were beating some of the students.
Yes, some of the students were assaulted, yes.
Were there any female students among them?
No, none of the females were taken along, but I understand that some of their devices were collected in the process, but none of them may be brought to the ground.
Okay. I just want to understand where you were taken from. Was it hostel in school premises, or is this like a out off-campus premises where students stay?
It's off campus, not too far from campus.
Okay.
It's off campus, where students stay.
Okay.
Because I didn't get any accommodation on campus, so I had to take this.
Okay.
That's fine.
So now, let me come to the parent.
I just wanted to ask him one more question. From the time you were taken to the time you were released, how many hours was that?
Okay, like 16, 15 hours, roughly.
With food? They give you food?
From 2 a.m. to about 8 p.m. Yeah.
Wow, the next day.
So
Okay,
roughly-
we'll come back to you. Now, so he was probably amongst the 50, I believe,
58.
that were released, 58 that were released. And after he could be released, you are demanding for an apology
Yes.
from EFCC. Tell us why.
Okay. The EFCC went into a school. I believe what I'll call carried out an illegal operation that, affected the fundamental human rights. And
Traumatized.
they were traumatized. They took everybody, which runs against all the norms of security operations anywhere in the world. They did this. They not only did that, they went out, they printed their pictures and announced on all their platforms that 69 OAU students have been arrested for suspected internet fraud, and they listed all their names. They listed all their... If you Google the names of any of these children now, you will find the EFCC narrative. You will not see anything else. And this is one of the reasons why. They have taken 11 people to court. Mind you, taking people to court does not mean that they are guilty.
Yes, until
it is
proven otherwise.
it is the competent court of law that will condemn them and say they are guilty. Now, let's take 11 out of 69 people. That's like 16% or thereabouts. If someone sat for an examination and scored 16%, that's a woeful failure. So what EFCC has done is a giant security failure, because you went somewhere, you rounded off 69 people, and at the end of about 2 weeks investigations, you've been able to actually send 11 to the courts. So the 58 that are there, the issue right now is these kids are so traumatized. You are saying, people keep going back. You invite them to come back, to come and sign register. Nothing. You just sign. Some of them, like Afiz, have collected their devices back. Some still have their devices held. So there's nothing, we've not had any information. There is nothing. You just say, come back, go, come back.
Is he still going back?
Yes.
Till today?
Yeah, it's due back sometime this month or early next month.
Let me take this call. Come to you, Miriam. Good morning. Thanks for calling. You're live.
Good morning.
Morning.
Okay. It's quite unfortunate what's happening at OAU. I'm actually an ex-student from that place under Professor Rogers' regime. But I don't want to talk about the school itself. I want to talk about the agencies, whether EFCC, whether NDLA, whatever agency we have. If there is one thing that is lacking, right from when we got independence till today, in all security agencies in Nigeria, is just orientation. That is all. orientation. You go outside the country, before they barge into your house, they have to knock. They have to have a search warrant. But here, we see our victims, our targets as animals. We just go in, barge in, pack them up, put them in the box, and take them off. If that doesn't stop, it will continue. We'll keep harassing ourselves. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, let me go on a quick break. When I come back, we'll continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We still have our guest with us. Miriam had a question for her, please.
So I actually have like two. One is for Hafiz. I wonder, how is it going back into school? Do you feel a certain way? Are you treated a different way?
I'm told Hafiz we've lost.
He's not there.
Hafiz, are you there? Can you hear us?
Yes. Hafiz, how do you feel? How do you feel since this arrest, knowing that your name and your picture is out there? How are you able to, reintegrate back into school? How has that affected you?
Hello, can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, okay. Actually, for the first few days, I couldn't go back to school because I was just feeling like all eyes would be on me and people stigmatized me. But my mates and the students' union and seeing all the support that they gave to me and really turned up immediately after the incident, really supported, it really helped me. Yesterday was my first time back in school after the incident. And getting into class, everybody was just being supportive and nice to me.
So let me just ask
really
the second
helping me
one.
more quickly.
Okay. Okay, I'm happy to hear you also mentioned student union because I wanted to find out what the school was doing alongside your parents, in asking EFCC to do the right thing. So, has there been any support from school? The school authorities, that is.
What I heard was that the school didn't really say much because it didn't happen on their premises. But I know that the students' union itself, the body itself, has been really helpful, even in getting lawyers for people that didn't have lawyers. But from the school itself, I haven't really heard much, personally.
Okay, let me play the devil's advocate for a minute because to have a robust conversation, it's always good to see things from all the sides. The EFCC can say, I didn't come into your OAU to raid any school. It was outside, first of all, and I have a mission to investigate or to barge into. I'm legally empowered to go into anywhere. I have the right to go into anywhere that I suspect they might be doing illegal activities, right? So that's on their end. So they barged into that hostel. Now, they said they rallied up 70 plus students. Some of them could actually, indeed, maybe be involved in illegal activities.
Possible.
Now, they're saying they don't have enough information or they don't have enough this international technology to determine where the hotspots are. They just gather all of them first, bring them. That's the crude way we arrest in this country. Let me just gather everybody else, bring them to the station first, and then begin to ask questions. That's how we've been doing it. So in our own, from the EFCC's point of view, I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't know your child was in that place. It was an external place, and I summed up everybody. How would you, if that's what they're saying, what would you say to that? How would you respond to that kind of situation where they're saying they're empowered?
Okay. Now, thank you very much for that question. Personally, we seem to underestimate the capacity of our government establishment, government agencies. Mm-hmm. Believe me, they are well-equipped and well-trained.
Yeah.
Well-equipped and well-trained. I will ask you a question back, probably for the AFCC. That day, before the end of that day, before our kids, the 58 that were discharged, before they were released, the EFCC chairman came out and banned such operations. That says something.
Yeah.
That says something. They have also done something. They have expunged everything that they sent out regarding that event from their website, from all their social media handles.
Okay. They know what to do.
So that just answers the question.
And the level of
If
intelligence
had done
they have.
something right, correct, they would have. I don't think they would have taken.
So they've done some right things, but now you're asking for an apology.
No, it's not right.
Okay.
Let me tell you, it is not right.
Okay.
Because, unfortunately, the way the internet works, over 100 websites have latched on, they have carried the story. Yeah. And when you go online and search today, the names of all these children, all these students, you will find the EFCC narrative, you will find the EFCC pictures, you will find the EFCC posts.
So how many can they eliminate?
So what's your demand, therefore?
So
I want to know what the parents' demand is, so that we are very clear what the government should do or what the EFCC. What is your demand this morning? Let us be very crystal clear.
Before you answer that question, I just want to say, first of all, they are supposed to go in with a warrant. That's number one. Number two, even if you suspect and all of them are even guilty, before you are innocent, you are proven guilty now. Why put their pictures out? Why put their names out? You don't do that.
Okay.
And now you have released 58. So it's a sin to study computer science in Nigeria. Please, sorry.
Okay, let me answer the question. What are we asking for? One, the 58 that you have released, we want an unconditional release, a complete, total. Release them. Don't be asking them, has anybody traveled the Lagos, Ife-Ibadan road? It's one of the worst roads in Nigeria. It's less than 80 kilometers, and it takes about 2 hours minimum to traverse. Yeah. So we are asking, please, let's stop all this trauma, financial troubles, emotional stress. You are not allowing these kids to go to school. They are not settled. Afis just went back to school yesterday after seeing the clinical psychologist for the second time. So total, complete, on my bill. Remove all the names, clear them.
Okay.
Clear the records, clear all the biometrics, and issue a letter of clearance to all of them.
Fantastic.
Yes.
So I think the EFCC and other security agencies need to clean up the way they handle situations.
Yes.
This is 2023. We cannot be doing blindsidedness. We cannot be doing guesswork for this kind of thing. If your intelligence is not proper, is not correct, do not go in. Exactly. You can find a way to isolate those people. They go out, you observe them, isolate them, and pick them one after the other till you get it. And you must not even question them without a presence of somebody, their lawyer or anything. You don't do that. It's not at this point. And also, one of the reasons why we've allowed people to handle things with impunity is because we're always afraid to do the right thing. We're always afraid to fight the fight and follow to the end. I like the fact that you're seeking for apology. But have you negotiated with probably other parents of the students to carry out like a class action? This is an infringement on the human rights of your children.
Yes. Last Friday, exactly, precisely.
I'll let you answer that question after the break. I have to go on the break. Let's go on the break. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We have to wrap up. Let me let you answer Busy's questions and we move on. Busy, you want to
in terms of what are you doing with the other parents of the students? Are you looking at a class action to deter this from happening again?
Right now, we are not looking at... We are looking at all options. Because one of the things we are looking at is that the FCC would behave like a responsible agency, a responsible body, accept their guilt, and just do the right things. We have not even thought beyond that because we know that this story is not just limited to Nigeria. I'm sure even the president, the office of the president must have heard. The attorney general must have heard about it. So we expect, because this thing is one of the things that will give the youths of the country the confidence that this government really loves them.
What's the best for them?
They want the best for them.
Unfortunately, I have to wrap up, but I'd like to end with this comment because it says that the place the students were picked was not a hostel. This is a covert operation, and they pick up everybody there, you know, and they now go for due diligence. However, the parent is right that the AFC must apologize, must issue a public apology for these students. And you're right, because of the records. Because if you, I think it was BC or someone that said it earlier, that If it was somebody who didn't have an educated parent, it sort of happened and would have just moved on.
I said it, but
yes.
Yes, but also I just want to say that for me, I agree with the parents. Most importantly, their records need to be expunged.
Yes.
And they need to be given a clean bill.
Yeah.
Let go completely.
Absolutely.
We don't want a Hafiz one day trying to get a job abroad, and then the company abroad just types Hafiz's name, and the first thing they see is internet fraudster arrested. See, this reputation is very expensive. Yes. And you should not allow that your children who haven't done anything to be placed on internationally as who are fraudsters. So EFCC needs to do what's best by these children, and they need to do it very soon.
Unreserved apology. Unreserved apology.
We have a health segment next. We have to go on a break. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, ladies. I really appreciate it. God bless you.
All right, let's go on a quick, very short break. When we come back, we'll bring in our doctor. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us right now in our health segment. We'll be discussing diabetes, which today happens to be World Diabetes Day. Joining us right now is the president of the Endocrine and Metabolism Society of Nigeria, Professor Olufemi Basomade. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Diabetes, we talk about it every year. We kind of celebrate it, but tell us, just for those who are hearing about it for the first time, what is diabetes and how do you get it? Is it hereditary?
Thank you very much for having me. I'm actually the former president of the Endocrine and Metabolism Society of Nigeria. Okay. And diabetes is a non-communicable disease, which means that you don't contract it by contact. And it's quite common in the sense that when you have more and more westernization, diabetes becomes more and more common, just like hypertension. How do you know a person that has diabetes? Usually, most of them are asymptomatic. They don't have any symptoms at all. But for those that will have symptoms, the usual thing that they do notice is they pass plenty of urine, they drink a lot of water because they are thirsty, and they lose a lot of weight over time. Some of them also notice they have blurred vision, and some of them may have tingling sensations in their feet and in their hands. And then some of them discover they have frequent development of boils, maybe in the armpits, around the anus, in different parts of the body. And all of these are things that make people think that this person might have diabetes. Another unusual way they present is a woman that has repeated miscarriages. Sometimes all that is there is just diabetes in pregnancy.
Wow.
Wow.
Scary. We learn every day.
Yes.
That's new information.
You know, when Mariah asked you the question, I was like, every Nigerian knows diabetes, but, you know, there are some symptoms we know, but you gave even more symptoms. Yeah. But, you know, before we get to diabetes itself, I hear there's pre-diabetes, being pre-diabetic.
Yes.
So is this something that leads immediately to diabetes, or is this something that just warns you and it can be reversed?
Yes, diabetes is just when you have blood sugars that are much higher than normal. But because in the population, you find a wide range of anything you measure. When you look at height, for instance, you see 7-footers, 6-footers, 5-footers. The same thing too, blood pressure and blood sugar. So in diabetes, when the fasting blood sugar is greater than 126 milligrams, you say the person has diabetes. And when it is lower than 100 milligrams, we say the person does not have diabetes. So in between the 100 and the 126 is a gray zone, which we'll say is pre-diabetes. And it gives people who have it an opportunity to prevent developing outright diabetes. And they can do that by just simple lifestyle, losing some weight, doing more exercise. And that is the beauty of pre-diabetes. Yeah, you can reverse it.
Without losing weight, some people have to change their diet.
Yes.
What if I just say, let me lose weight and still maintain the diet of the food I love that can cause diabetes?
Well, if you just lose weight, you'll be taking away one major factor because there are several factors that lead to diabetes.
But there's some slim people that have diabetes.
There are, because there are different types of diabetes. Majority of diabetes, which is a type 2 diabetes, they are usually overweight or obese. But those who have type 1 diabetes, usually they are slim or even underweight.
So the type 1 is the one that can never be cured or something?
Yes, usually a person with type 1 has more severe symptoms. And those ones, they must be on insulin all the days of their life. So it's more difficult to reverse that type of diabetes.
So are there new medications to manage diabetes? Because Nigerians, I mean, we know about diabetes, how you test your blood sugar. Are there, in 2023, are there new medications you can use to treat it or to even cure it completely?
Yes, when I was training as a student, we had just about 3 different types of medications. But now, for diabetes, there are new ones coming out every year. Right now, there are over 40 different medications. Some of them are readily available, some of them are very, very expensive, and some of them are just injections that you take on a weekly basis, and some of them have profound effects. So there are a lot of new innovations. So if a person has diabetes, ask your doctor, what are the new medications? Is anyone right for me?
So there's this trend I'm seeing quite a bit of with children being diabetic, and not type 1, but type 2. What's happening?
Yes, what is happening with the children who are developing diabetes that are not type 1 is because we are having a transition in the way our children look. Currently, most children, they are much fatter than their parents. So you find a child who is 10 years old is already weighing 70 to 80 kilograms. That type of child is already prone to everything an adult who is overweight is prone to. So you could have a 10-year-old child who has both diabetes and hypertension at that age. So we should watch how we...
So what do you do in a case like that?
Well, part of the reason why it is like that is because with the population dynamics. In the past, people will say if you have 10 children, you have security. So all of them are 10 and they are scrawny. But nowadays, people just have one child.
And they give all the love.
They give all the love and all the care. They load their lunch pack with drinks and chocolates.
So that means, you know, all those soda drinks should be cut out, especially for obese children.
Yes, they should be.
So how expensive or how affordable is it to manage, especially that type 1 diabetes?
The type 2 diabetes, which usually they're able to manage with just tablets, costs most patients somewhere between 25 to 40,000 naira in terms of tests and drugs on a monthly basis.
But can a lifestyle reverse type 2?
At some stage, yes. For instance, at the stage of pre-diabetes, lifestyle can reverse it. But usually once a person has developed outright diabetes, lifestyle is almost too late. What lifestyle can do in such people is to help them to control the blood sugars and prevent complications. But it's already come, you can't do much about it. For the type 1, they spend sometimes as much as 50 to 60,000 naira per month. And if you have one complication, that cost can go times 3 or times 4 of that. For instance, kidney failure.
Oh, okay, so recently a notable person had to be amputated for part of the body, and they said it was because diabetes was what led to this amputation. Many Nigerians hear that and thinking, I don't want them to cut off any part of my body. So how do we go from being diagnosed to not getting to the point of amputation?
Yes, so again, lifestyle plays a major role. If you have already been diagnosed to have diabetes, there's not much you can do. But the lifestyle can make sure you don't go and have the complications associated with diabetes. Amputation of the legs or extremities, diabetes is the commonest cause of lower extremity amputation.
What leads to that?
So what usually leads to that is, as I said, sometimes patients have tingling sensation in their feet, which the typical Yoruba man will say, paja, paja or something. They start having cramps and then they can't feel. And when you can't feel, it means you can step on a nail or you can have an injury without knowing. Some people even get burns, putting their foot either on the silencer of a motorbike and they don't know they've been burned.
Oh, God.
So from there, infection sets in again. Because they don't feel pain in that same leg, the infection rages and they delay in going to hospital. And then before you know it, by the time the doctor sees it, it now becomes a race against time, the leg or the life. And very often the doctors have to take the decision, very painful decision, to save the life by removing that leg which is affected.
In dealing with Nigerians, how would you say our attitude is towards diabetes and lifestyle and just accepting it and doing right by, by our lifestyle in handling diabetes and preventing it?
It's quite tough for the average Nigerian to deal with lifestyle. And I'll mention a few reasons. For instance, our roads typically don't even have walkways. So you can't walk easily. If you walk, you might get hit by either a keke, napep, or okada. Our schools don't have playgrounds, which will encourage healthy
don't allow
life.
them play.
Yes, children don't play. They are now playing on their phones. And then when you now talk about healthy diet consists of vegetables and fruits. But you find that those fruits are more expensive. It's cheaper to buy a meat pie than to buy a watermelon. So people just go or gravitate to the cheapest things. And fast food is really very cheap. With 400 naira, you can eat a fast food and have a drink and you feel full. Yeah. If you want to go for something with vegetables, one apple is 100, 150 naira.
Yes.
And then before you now start thinking of a healthy meal with lettuce and vegetables, it's quite expensive. So for the Nigerian, it's very tough living a healthy lifestyle.
It's not filling. That's the issue.
It's
expensive too.
But
somebody who should eat in
a eba soup is healthy.
Very healthy.
But it's not filling. That's what I'm saying. The eba makes it full. Like, yes, you're done 1 meal.
You can eat
done.
protein. Protein is filling. You can put your meat,
It's
and
expensive
fish
to
and
buy meat
eggs.
and fish and egg.
Yeah, but somebody would say, because he's the one here, but somebody would say, it's not better for me to use the money and buy proper food and I'll eat it and be full than buy little snacks here and there. But what do you say to schools? Because schools, they have talk shops and all sorts of things. Our children will not go to school if you don't give them money for that. Please, when on a day like this, what is the message to schools?
Well, the message to schools is that they should invest in some healthy choices because sometimes there are a few fruits that are not so expensive. An orange is cheaper than an apple, for instance. Yeah. And then some schools actually have farmlands. So people they should be encouraged to go and pluck those oranges, those agbalumos and co, rather than soft drinks.
Let me take this call. Good morning, sir. Babatunde, I believe. Go ahead, Waki.
Is it everything with sugar that can cause diabetes?
Yes, what implicates sugar is that it is a highly refined carbohydrate. So it means sugar is not good, fructose is not good, most of the things that are very, very highly refined. So actually it's better to take a big bowl of eba than to take a soft drink, which has loads of
rice,
refined sugar. Rice is good, but even rice, there are different types of rice. Our local ofada is better than the Oyinbo rice.
But there's no Oyinbo rice, Indian rice that they sell and they say it prevents diabetes.
Is it the basmati?
Basmati rice. In fact, that's what they use to...
In fact, I think that the hype on basmati is, we don't need it. Yes, it's over-exaggerated. Ofada is better than basmati. Okay. Abakaliki rice is better than basmati rice.
Okay.
Eba, fufu is better than wheat that is turned.
I agree.
Eba and fufu is better than...
What of semo?
Yes, semo is fairly good.
But it's not,
yes, but not so good. Starch is fairly good also.
See, our own indigenous foods,
they're
much better for us.
Yes.
So what's the theme for this year for the World Diabetes Day, and what's the message to everybody?
Yes, the theme is access to diabetes care. And when we talk about access, it starts with different levels. First of all, you need to know you have diabetes before you even go and look for care. So access to diabetes care is talking about you knowing you have the condition and knowing where to go to get proper treatment and counsel. A lot of people go to the wrong places, and that's why, for instance, the example of people who have their limbs cut off. Some people may have tingling sensation, and they don't know they have diabetes. They go to the native doctor who uses blade to even cut wounds on that leg and worsening everything.
Let me take this call so we can wrap up. Florence, thanks for calling.
Morning, everybody.
You're live. Go ahead. Morning.
Please, doctor, what can you say about people that have family history of diabetes?
Family history of diabetes.
Yes. A very good question, because part of the slogan for this year is know your risk, know your response. If you have a person in your family with diabetes, you are at high risk of diabetes. You're almost pre-diabetic. And if you have both parents having diabetes, it's just a matter of time, except you now take it very, very actively to make sure that I'm going to do all the right things. Otherwise, that person will eventually develop diabetes, even at a younger age than his parents develop them. So if you have a parent with diabetes, check your blood sugar every year, watch your weight, watch what you eat, and try to do a lot of exercise. 30 minutes, a brisk walk every day, and you will prevent diabetes.
You know, I know somebody whose father was diabetic, his sister is diabetic, but he believes that he's not going to be that. He's never been tested, and he always takes a lot of sugar. But he exercises a lot, so he can eat a whole pack of icing sugar or lots of bad food. But his own compensation is that I'm always in the gym, I exercise, I'm okay, I can't have diabetes. Is that true?
Well, some of them are canceling each other. For instance, the sugar is bad, but the exercise, if it is adequate, you can eliminate the effect of that sugar. But not too many people can go to the gym as frequently as you mentioned. So sometimes.
And also, as he gets older, too, he may not have the time to do the gym as well.
And I've heard that you cannot outrun a bad diet.
Catches up with you at some point.
I think that's all we could do. Thank you so much. You covered quite a bit in such a short time.
Short.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's all we can take on today's show. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.